You lot, raise your glasses. This one's for Paul, Phil, and the Paranormal Soul Brother! Paul's got a torch and a tradies belt. Swears that he felt a cold hand on his bum. Phil's in the kitchen with a GoPro helmet, shouting, "Come at me, spirit, you cowardly scum!" Soul Brothers burning the bargain bin sage, reading vibes like a busted old gauge. Ghost Wankers, Ghost Wankers, three brave idiots and a busted van. Ghost Wankers, Ghost Wankers, chasing bad vibes round the caravan. If your house feels weird and your dog won't stay, they'll rock up drunk and scare it away. Ghost Wankers, Ghost Wankers, best worst hunters in the whole damn land. Oh, yeah.
Yes, tonight we got a great guest, but the only thing is you can't see her. She's invisible. And her name is J.M. Heluk, and she's an author of a book called Stitches. So we'll find out all about that. She also too had her own paranormal encounter with the basement entity.
Oh yeah.
So the first thing I want to ask JM is, how did you get involved in writing? Kind of tell us what Stitches is all about, and we'll just go from there.
All right. Well, first of all, to save time and syllables, you could just call me Jay.
Okay,
So
Jay.
that'll work. And thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Sorry for the technical difficulty. I do apologize, but yeah, just throw a picture up. It's just as good. Maybe it's better.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah, and I noticed all of you guys have really cool nicknames, and I don't have a nickname, so I'm going to call myself the, let's say, the Queen of Creep. How about that?
Okay. All
There
right.
you go.
I like
Okay, that'll
All
work.
right.
That'll work.
All right. So basically, since forever I've been writing. I was influenced a lot by like what you gentlemen were just talking about, early horror, Jaws, The Thing, Alien, Creepshow, all of these quintessential horror movies of the past. So I decided to finally put a collection together of short stories, and my book Stitches and Other Stories is doing quite well. It is a very well written collection. If you're looking for kind of shock and gore, you're not going to find it in here. There is gore, there is shock, but it's meaningful and it's purposeful. Just like you were talking about the fin in Jaws, like you only saw, it's like peekaboo horror, but it lasts and it terrifies and it gets you, right in the core. So part of the book, well, actually, let me go back. Nothing in this book is what it seems. So basically, the reader gets to speculate on the origin of the horror. They're going to root out all of these subtle connections, and ultimately they get to stitch each tale together on their own. Because even though there's a myriad of stories in here, they're all connected by tiny threads. They all have, like little Easter eggs throughout the book to get the reader to kind of figure out, okay, what was the genesis of the horror? So that's kind of what the collection is.
Well, that is spectacular. I mean, and is this your first book, Jay?
Actually, it is my first book that I put together, but I've been writing in the industry for about, not to age myself or date myself, but about 25 to 30 years. I have amassed, yeah, I know, I've been around a while. I have amassed, like I have been published in lots of short story collections because I am in love with short form horror. But this was my first foray into putting something together. So yeah, this is my first collection, but I've been around for a long time. Yeah, I've been in the horror writer. Well, I'm actually an affiliate member of the Horror Writers Association, and I have been published in numerous anthologies.
Wow, it's
Oh,
impressive.
that's fantastic. Yeah, Jay, myself, I'm an author. Phil's an author,
Ooh,
and Zandine is an author with music. He writes a lot of music and stuff like that.
publishing,
So we know about the publishing business
publishing.
and how tough it can get sometimes. So, but more power to you. Are you working on another book?
I am, yes. I am working on a novel. It is my first attempt at writing in long form. Um, but I'm a creature of, the second golden age of horror. I am a child of the 70s and the 80s. So I do prefer short stories. Writing a novel is like kind of letting me run loose in an open field. It's you have all the space, you could do everything you want. Whereas short story writing is more claustrophobic. It's kind of like you're in a little box and you have to get out of it within a certain amount of words. And it is kind of interesting uh, to try to turn around and write a longer story, basically. But the novel is called Thig, Thig,
Oh,
which
okay.
is the Scottish word to beg. And it's kind of like Indiana Jones meets 28 Days Later meets Evil Dead.
Wow,
Okay, okay, okay. I like
that's a
that.
lot. That's a
Zombie
lot
movie
going
or
on.
zombie story then?
Um, yes and no. It's
Jay, I
more
gotta tell you, I hope it does have something like a zombie because I love. I mean, people let the zombie thing go. The fast zombies were scary, but
there I
then when
am.
there
Oh, yeah, there you go.
you
Okay.
are, and then when they nice glasses, and when they tried from, they had creatures that were smart. They didn't actually chase you, but they could go very fast. So I thought that was interesting. But I love the speed of different creatures, how they chase you or get you into a a siege type position. But sounds like you have some of those elements if you mentioned those movies that you talked about.
I do. It's a world ender. It's not going to end well for anybody in the book. I mean, it's surprisingly, I had the idea about 30 years ago or 25 years ago, but I never actually just got it down on a piece of paper because I'm always misdirected with the short stories because it's kind of like addicting. You're like, oh, I got this idea in my head. I'm going to get it out. Let's get it done. Boom, done. On to the next. But the novel is takes place in England, and Dr. Marla Brown and her team of archaeologists uncover something that they probably had no business screwing around with, and it's all hell breaks loose, quite literally. So
So writing a story that takes
Okay,
place in
okay.
England,
Right. Right.
did that present a challenge as far as they there are some even though we speak the same language, there's quite a bit of difference in the language too. So how did you
yes,
approach
you would
that?
be correct. Yeah, there is it is a little bit challenging.
Buddy.
Um, thank God all of my characters or most of my characters are from the United States.
You cheated. Come on.
You cheater. I did. Sure did. But yeah, I mean, Fig is something. Oh, and there I am there now. Now everything's working. I'm shutting this off.
Everything
So
has a delay
when you
signal
when you
today for some reason.
I love short stories too. As a kid, one of the first books I ever got was Stephen King's little book of short stories. It was a blue book with eyeballs sticking through the cover, and when you opened up, it was a hand that was wrapped up with gauze and had the eyeballs sticking through it, and had great stories like Strawberry Spring and Sometimes They Come Back and things like that. But so that, and you mentioned Creep Show before. I've always loved the short story form. But I've heard other writers, whether it be movie or book, they try to come up with an ending before they write the story. Is that the way you approach it, or do you just come up with an idea and then let it find its own ending?
Sometimes, oh, hold on. I'm having really bad.
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello, hello.
It's the Lou Gehrig story.
Oh my goodness. What's going on? I am so sorry.
Oh, it's not bad.
No, it's because she's got two devices going at the same time.
Yeah.
I can mute one of
That
them.
device just finally caught up. It just
Right.
locked in right now.
We know how it is.
Oh my God. What was the question?
It was about writing, the process of writing a story. I know a lot of, whether it be movies or books, some authors try to come up with an ending before they write the story, and then I've heard other writers just come up with an idea and try to let it find its own ending. When you're approaching a short story, it could be different than when you're trying to do something as long as a novel. So, how have was it different with a novel than your normal approach? How did you do it?
Well, how am I still doing it? I'm almost done with the novel. I'm
Awesome.
in the end stretch, but I guess all creative people, writers like you guys know, I mean, we're all haunted. We have these stories going on in our head. Uh, we have to get them down on paper. We have characters, we have all these other things, but sometimes it's something as simple as just getting the idea of a story title and then working around that, or the opening line, or the ending scene. And then you just sit down and sketch it out. It's funny. I have a friend of mine. Her name is Han Lee, and she's helping with my social media because obviously I'm technically challenged. And she's helping me with a few things. And she asked me a very salient question. She was like, well, how do you write? Because she wanted to be a writer. And I basically told her, I mean, it's very simple and it's very difficult at the same time. You just sit down and write. I mean, it's not any easy. It doesn't get any easier. It doesn't get any more difficult. I said, you're going to write. It's going to suck. You're going to hate it. And you're going to write again. And then you're going to edit it. So actually now she's got a book done called Beautiful Things Left Unsaid. And I'm very proud of her because it was, she's younger than me and she's trying and she's green and trying to get the process down. And her process is different than my process. My process is I have an hour-long commute in the morning. So I will just drive and these things go, not to do this, but these things go on in your head and you just have to hope you can get them down on paper. That's it.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, I got to ask you about your basement entity.
Oh,
Can you tell us about that?
okay. So this is my book. Okay. And
Stitches.
Stitches. And there is a story in here of the title. And the title is of the story is Stitches. And that story captures the feelings I had as a child growing up in the house that I grew up in. Right now, I do have Wi-Fi difficulties because I live in a 100-year-old, actually it's a 150-year-old farmhouse where I grew up. Surprisingly, this isn't haunted at all. This is fine. I grew up in a very suburban town in New Jersey where, the houses were built in the 50s and 60s. As far as I know, it wasn't built on Indian burial ground or cursed land or anything. And Stitches follows a story of a little boy who's kind of terrified to go into the basement because that's where they had moved his grandmother after she had a series of strokes. And even though that wasn't my experience, the feelings that this child experiences going down into this basement, there is something wrong. And I'm not going to say the house is haunted because I don't believe it's haunted, but there's something malevolent there. There's a difference. There's something in that basement, not only for me as a child, but for anybody who ever comes into that house and has to go downstairs to go help my mom with something with wash or, go get an extra chair for Easter. They all come up with that same kind of pallid look on their face and quiet. And you don't even have to say anything. There's a feeling, there's dread, there's sometimes like shadows. But part of the story is, I remember going down the stairs and the light switch, it makes me swallow hard just thinking about it. The light switch, which was on, behind me, like you had to slide your vulnerable hand across the wood paneling into the slice of darkness and flip the switch. And then maybe the bare bulb at the end of the basement would light up or flicker or turn on if you were lucky. And other times it wouldn't. But whatever is in that basement definitely formed the last story in the book, which was Stitches. And it is it's actually been going on for so long that recently I told my mother, I was like, you have to get somebody in this house. You have to have somebody bless this house. You have to have somebody do something, because it was getting so, like, I don't really know how to explain it other than when you went down into the basement, you would feel like you're being watched. My cousin's wife went down there. We didn't tell her anything. She went down there. She came up white as a sheet. We're like, what's wrong? She's like, nothing. She was real quiet. She left the house. She took the child and left the house. She was downstairs with the baby. They saw a huge, I find out later, they saw a huge black shadow just go right past them. And the kid got scared and started crying and wanted to go upstairs. Now it gets worse, because when I was a little girl, being in that house and being, a child of the 70s and 80s, you were a latchkey kid, brush your teeth, go to bed. I'll be home from work at X amount of time. And you just did it. And I was so little that, I'm like 6, 7, 8 years old, brush your teeth, go to bed. She'll be home soon. Totally unsupervised, by the way, which thank God I was a good kid. But, like, I'm laying in the bed and I'm young enough. I'm so young that I don't even understand the danger. I don't understand what's in the house. But it's there and it was real. And I would lay in the bed, and the only way I could liken it to is sort of like that little baby gazelle that gets born on the Serengeti, and it's vulnerable and it's separated, and like it's prey, and the things that are going to prey on it are in the bushes. Okay, but only this was in the house. And I remember laying in bed and being a sassy little brat girl. I would try to go to bed and I'd hear whispering in the house, like whispering. There's nobody home. I'd hear the whispering, and it would usually come from top in the corners of the room, which was very bizarre, like floating above. And my hair is all standing up and I'm getting the creeps, but I would hear it say things like, is she asleep? Whispering, is she asleep? Is she this? It was so horrifying. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't even know enough to be afraid. So I'm like, no, I'm not. And good night. And flipping the blankets over like it's nothing, but really it was something. And it's been in that house for as long as I could remember. My mother is incredibly aware of it. She says
what town is this? What town is this?
This is in East Brunswick, New Jersey.
East Brunswick. Okay.
Yeah. And anybody who goes in that house, anybody who goes downstairs. But see, my mother has a part in this too, because she used to screw around with Ouija boards and all other kinds of stuff. Oh, there's a pentagram in the basement floor. I'm like, where'd this come from? Oh yeah, like all kinds of crazy shit. But that was there when my mother bought the house.
Wait, what year did your mother buy the house?
I think in the 60s or the 70s.
So, right. So, the 73 was when The Exorcist came out, right? I believe that movie was like 73.
I don't know if that movie scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, it got everybody. So, and I mean, people passed out in the movie theater and were screaming in the aisles when that one came out. But that was early 70s, I think, like 73. if your mother bought that house before that and there was a pentagram on the floor,
Yeah.
you're talking like either it was like some Anton LaVey, freaks, or it might have been the real thing. that's terrifying.
Whatever it was.
But Brunswick, New Jersey, Brunswick, most that whole state and a lot of places around it before anything was built, a lot of the ley lines were already made. People were already into that before a lot of those places were even built up. So like the closest city with the most in Washington D.C. has like 19 ley lines before all that stuff was made. San Francisco is like 23. So it's like wherever you were, there was a high chance that was going on a long time before that, whether you knew it or not.
Yeah, it's terrifying. The house is terrifying. And what makes it even more terrifying is it's so innocuous looking. Like it's a regular looking house. There's nothing. It's a ranch house. There's nothing, you walk in, it's nice house, whatever. But man, there is something there. And I was definitely preyed upon as a kid, like with these little like stupid things too. Like you'd walk past a mirror or like oh my God, my girlfriend, she walked in the house and she came from a very religious family. She walked in the house and she was like, nope. And she walked out and she was little. I mean, she was only like 9 years old.
Did you get anyone to bless the house?
Just recently, I had this horrific dream and this is why I wanted to talk to you guys, because you guys are the Ghost Wankers, so you guys would know. But I had this horrific dream that I went down in the basement. This is recently. This is just last year. I'm a grown ass woman. Had the dream that my mother was in the basement. And I walked past her and I went to the washer and dryer, which was over here. And as I was standing at the washer and dryer, a sheet flew up, flew across the room, but it caught on something invisible that was massive. I have goosebumps thinking about it. And the sheet did that whole thing like that, where it was just caught on it and it went and it grabbed my mother by the hand. And I tried to reach out for her and it just dragged her. And I saw her doing this like away. Like it was horrifying. I woke up, I called my mother. I said, I don't care who you have to get in there. I said, you have to get somebody in there to bless the house. I said, there's something in there. She goes, yes, but it doesn't bother me. I said, no, that's not the answer. The answer is we have to get rid of this. So that weekend, and it does creep me out talking about it because it's almost like invoking it or giving it some sort of power, which I don't want to do. But like I went there with, everything in the book, the holy water, the Bible, I'm throwing stuff around. I revoke your whatever, blah, 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 get out. And then I had my mother get a priest. The priest came in. He went into the basement. My mother, rolled her eyes. She said, my daughter says there's something in the house. I think there is. Can you do something? And he blessed the basement. But I mean, I don't think that's where my penchant from horror came from. I think that's just genetic because my grandmother had it. Like we all had this horror gene for writing or creativity or movies and things like that. But that definitely formed at least the one story Stitches in here.
Wow.
And because of that brand of dread, that brand of horror, that brand of, where you feel like you are that little gazelle on the Serengeti, like you are prey and you were easy picking. So it was a really creepy time.
And it's funny that you said that it was massive because in the movie, The Entity, which is based on a true story, they threw some dry ice on the entity, and it was massive. And that kind of reminded me when you said that the sheet went over the entity.
Yeah, it was terrifying. It was enormous. It was way bigger. It had no form. It was kind of formless, like almost, but the shape of it was huge. And whatever was in the basement is that. I'm convinced of it.
Hey, Jay, listen, we have about 3 minutes, and then Zoom is going to shut us down. We're
Sure.
going to take a 10-minute break. I'm going to send you a second link, so we can finish up this interview. And there's something I want to ask you, and if I have you mixed up with somebody else, please tell me.
Mhm.
But are you somehow associated with this celebrity known as Corey Feldman?
Yeah.
I knew it. Okay, you got to tell us that story because Phil Zandine and myself were Corey Feldman fans.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it was a very, very bizarre thing. How do you know that?
Yeah, I just know things.
What the hell? Oh, I'm sure the second link will work really good too.
Oh my God. Yeah, definitely. We'll have to hear the story when you come back.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, so we've got about 2 minutes and then it's going to shut down. Then 10-minute break, get some coffee, whatever, smoke them if you got them. And then we'll finish up the interview.
Okay.
I
Okay.
grew up in New Jersey too.
Oh, did you where?
Seaside Heights, Ocean County.
Sleeside.
Sleeside, exactly.
There you go. Yeah, listen, New Jersey gets a bad rap. It's a good place.
It does. It does. Well, my parents were like the gypsies of Ocean County, so we lived all over Toms River, Seaside Heights, Bricktown briefly.
Okay.
So yeah, I went to all three high schools. There were only three back then. I think there's a fourth now. So I went to North, South, and East. Went to both middle schools. There were two back then, East and West, and yeah. So, anyways, and a lot of elementary schools too. And every time we moved houses, my mother would always have the house blessed by a priest because we lived in some pretty old, creepy houses.
Yeah, I live in a creepy house now. It's perfectly fine. My mother's normal house is a horror show.
That's the problem.
Yeah. It's bad. Yeah, New Jersey gets a bad rap. I like New Jersey. It's fine. I lived in Los Angeles for a while, which we'll talk about Corey Feldman.
I guess that's how that happened. He didn't. I guess he doesn't hang out in New Jersey.
No, he doesn't hang out in New Jersey. I lived out there for a few years. So we'll see.
Yeah, we did the Hollywood thing, right?
Yeah, we did the Hollywood thing. I was okay with it.
I spent 23 years in Sacramento, so I didn't do Hollywood, but I did California.
It's not. I know it's not. Come on. Ugh. You got to see my face when I talk about Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
What? I don't understand. I've been on many podcasts. I don't know why this isn't working.
I was going to ask you, were you one of Corey's angels?
Oh God, no.
No.
No, I'm good. No, thank you.
I know why your video's not working. It's
Why?
The basement entity.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, then it came from East Brunswick to here because I'm not there. Yeah, so here we go again with this bullshit. Sorry, guys. I don't know.
Okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. At least we can hear you. That's the main thing. Yeah. So we'll get started, okay, Jay?
Yeah.
And if you get the video working, cool. Okay, so like I was telling you, Phil Zandine and myself were Corey Feldman fans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was a Lost Boys fan, and I've seen his kids' movies. I wouldn't say I was a fan. I just happened to watch those movies.
Jay, I'm joking. We're not fans of Corey Feldman.
Oh, thank God, because I didn't know how I was gonna. Thank God the camera doesn't work.
No.
No, we're definitely not Corey Feldman.
Lost Boys was a great movie, and I think I saw License to Drive, but I think that's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
It was hysterical because I was when we were like, oh, we'll take a break, and I was like, oh no, how am I gonna tell this story?
We watch all his stupid videos and we laugh and joke around about it.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, yes.
Thank God.
Yes, thank God.
Oh, now I'm going to try. You know what? I'm going to try now from my phone again because that took forever to work. I don't know why the video, it is there any way for you to ask me to join video or no?
Phil?
Being recorded.
I'll try it again. Let's see. Ask to start video.
Yeah, start my video.
Ask to start video.
When you move the cursor, do you get anything at the bottom of your screen?
Yeah, I mean, it just, the camera for some reason just says video with an X through it and a red,
Well, click it.
like
Click
a
it.
yield sign.
Click it. Click it.
Yeah, I did. Nothing.
Nothing.
Nope. Then it says integrated camera. I click on that. Please enable your camera access. I
Okay,
write
you
camera
might-
allowed, continue
might-
allowing, and then that's it. I don't know what's going on.
Hmm.
You
And
won't
it's
have
weird
another-
because with my phone, it would either allow one or the other, which is bizarre. Oh, am I on the phone now? Oh, this is weird. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why.
Don't worry about it, Jay.
All right. It's
Yeah,
very.
Phil will throw a picture of you up there.
Let's
Yeah,
find the
put
worst
one right-
one you can find.
Yeah, I'll get one of you and Corey and put them right next to each other.
Oh yeah, that was great. Mhm.
Oh my God. So anyway, okay, Jay. So tell us about your experience with Corey Feldman.
All right. So, I mean, it was 1980 something. I was a much younger woman at the time. And I was out with my friends and we were in Hollywood and I lived in Los Angeles. I was dating somebody that worked at Stan Winston Studios. And, they were working on Jurassic Park and It and all these, phenomenal things. And me and my girls go out one night and we're walking. It's like probably 11 o'clock at night. And here comes Corey Feldman out of a check cashing place. You know those, like you could just, those really shitty areas where there's like a check cashing place. He wanders out of the check cashing place and we're walking by and I'm not like bowled over. I'm not like, I don't care. I don't care who you are. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't care. So my girlfriends are walking by and he stops us and he's like, oh, there I am. Yay. Just took a while. Huzzah. So we're okay. So now you're going to see my face. Oh God, while I recant this story. So it is probably one of the douchiest things that has ever happened to me. But he walks up to me and my girls and he invites us to go to a party in the hills. And I'm like, so I turn around to my girls and I'm like, do you guys want, there's no way I'm going. And I'm like, do you guys want to go to a party with Corey Feldman? And they're all like, laughing and stuff. And then he says, no, not them, you. And he's talking to me. And I laughed in this man's face. I mean, I just laughed. I was like, me? And he's like, yeah, you want to go for a party up in the hills, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, absolutely not. I was so baffled. And then he says, to me, the whole, do you know who I am? And I said, yes, I know exactly who you are. And I'm not impressed. And see you later. And that was my experience with Corey Feldman. But I want to know how you knew that I knew Corey Feldman.
Well, you know something? I'm very impressed because right now I am 1 degree from Corey Feldman because of you.
Oh, I'm so happy. Yay. All right. Well,
No,
here's the weird thing. Years later, he had a birthday and he posted it because I follow him on Facebook because it's like a train wreck. I mean, you have to watch what happens, but he, his videos and stuff. So it was his birthday, and I just kind of typed out, I was yeah, like 30 years ago, you hit on me outside of a check cashing place in North Hollywood. And he texts back. He's like, yes, like slide into my DMs or something. I'd love to chat. And I'm like, still, I'm an old woman now. Stop it. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm glad to be there.
That's crazy.
You know what, Jay, you'll like this story because of that one. My mother, when my mother was alive, we went to see James Brown, and we saw him at the Fairmont, which is in
Okay.
San Francisco. And concert was good and everything, and Maceo actually played really good, but he was the, I guess I would say more popular, but everybody wanted to talk to Maceo after the show. He had dropped his keys, and my mother picked them up, and he didn't realize that, so he was just too busy talking. But we saw him. It was these ladies from Switzerland. He was like, "Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow at 3 o'clock, right? Right?" And then they said, "Oh yeah, okay, we'll see you, Macy." And then these other girls came. And he said, "Hey, so I'll see you at 5:30, right?" And these other girls are talking to him, and he said a time. And then my mother came, and he goes, "Hey, how you doing, darling?" He goes, "Yeah, good." He said, "So what time will I see you tomorrow night?" And my mother said, "Listen, I have your keys." And my mother's an SFPD. She really didn't give a fuck. So she gave him the keys and we left. But true story.
There you go. You can't make this
No,
shit
you
up.
can't make it up.
It's terrible. It's
Oh my
terrible.
God.
Yeah, I mean, people think I mean, stars, whatever. Like I like when you say you don't get the starstruck. That's how my mother is. Oh, she was
Yeah.
anyway. She didn't
Yeah.
care.
I don't
But
care.
if you weren't straight, she would care about that. She would know right away. If you weren't if you weren't on the up and up.
Yeah. Yeah. Me, I'm not impressed by anything. Like, I remember when I went to Stan Winston Studios, and I guess Arnold Schwarzenegger came in with, I guess, his child, one of them, and he was looking at the T-Rex or the Triceratops, and he just, like, I see him and I'm like, oh, okay, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's like, look at the big one. He was pointing to the big dinosaurs and stuff. But, like, I mean, I don't know, I think it's a certain personality. And certainly I'm not going to get bowled over by Corey Feldman.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned Arnold because I ran into Arnold 5 times, and
Wow.
this is how I met him.
Damn.
Yeah, 5 times.
Wow.
In Los Angeles, I was working with the Office Emergency Services for the Northridge earthquake.
Wow.
And at the hotel that we were staying at, the Mayfair Hotel, he was filming True Lies. So that was the first time I saw him. And then I transferred to the Secretary of State, and he was using our auditorium to make his speeches when he was the governor. So I ran into him 4 times over there, shook his hand one time, and the guy's short. Yeah, it's like I thought you were bigger.
They seem bigger on camera. I don't know. When you see them in person, kind of
he's a
like
short guy. Yeah, and I wanted to bump shoulders with him.
shoulder into them. See how tough he really was.
Yeah.
I've heard somebody
But,
else say
yeah,
that too, but I thought Arnold was showed at like 6 foot. Not 6 foot, not even close.
No. He came to about here to the high level.
Well, how tall are you?
5'10" and a
Paul?
half.
6 foot. 6 foot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How tall was Corey Feldman?
Oh my God, he was a little guy.
Was he?
Yeah, he's a little guy, and
And
I'm
cracks me
little
up.
too.
It cracks me up because he's a Michael Jackson wannabe.
Oh, he's got to stop. He's got to stop
Oh,
with
I
this.
know.
But
Oh my
I mean,
God.
listen, God only knows what that guy went through. Nobody knows. So I'm just kind of like, but that was my experience with him.
Well, Jay, you were asking how I knew about the Corey Feldman thing.
Yeah.
Is because what I do is we do a lot of interviews with authors.
Mhm.
So what I do is I do a little bit of research and I dig
Mhm.
into their Facebook to see what was going on, and then I saw that pop up, and I go, "What? What the?"
There it is. Yep. It was a long time ago, but it is a funny story.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
one of those stories where it was just kind of like so random. And it's like, of course it was Corey Feldman. It couldn't have been anyone else. It was Corey Feldman. So of
No.
course it was.
That is so funny. So you're really into horror and stuff like that. So you're going to be publishing other books in the future.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
horror is my core. I mean, that is my go-to. Um, Not a romance person. When it's time for me to pick a movie, it's definitely horror or ultra violence.
What are your favorite horror movies?
Ah, well, it's a great question. There's two that are tied. One is Jaws, like Phil was talking about earlier. I think that is the quintessential horror movie. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh man, I love
Awesome,
that.
awesome
Yeah.
movie.
The Thing was oh my God. To this day, it doesn't matter. I've watched the movie 100 times. I can watch it 100 more. It's perfect. It's at Rob Bottin special effects. I'm a regular special effects girl. I'm not into the whole CGI stuff. And that was just I love that movie. And then, yes, and then Alien. I have to say Alien too.
I like
So
Evil Dead.
going
I like
yeah,
Evil
going
Dead.
back to Phil's point with kind of like the peekaboo horror, less is more. Less is more. And same thing with my book. If you're looking for, oh, and the scary clown stabbed the people, that's not this book. This is cosmic horror, supernatural horror. This is body horror, tentacle horror. It is everything, but it's a slow burn where you start to feel that creeping dread. You feel that angst. You feel all those things. You connect with the characters. There's a lot of tragedy. I kill children in there. I mean, there's no, but it's usually something along the lines of, like an adult's mistake. Like there's a lot of tragedy and darkness, but it is a slow burn. So if anybody's looking for like a quick, gore splatter slasher, that's not what this is. This is intelligent horror.
It's not Terrifier.
Terrifier's not scary. Terrifier's not scary. I mean,
At all.
again, they show the guy
No,
right
no,
away, and then they show him just basically sit there and torture people with that stupid,
no.
crazy look on
I
his
need
face.
something supernatural. Yeah. If it's a
The
guy like that,
Exorcist
just don't
is
wait.
scary because you can't see the devil.
That's
You
right.
can't see evil, and that's what makes that movie. It's a little girl strapped to a bed for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why is that movie terrifying? Why were people screaming and being carried out of the theater? And to this day, that movie stands up.
It
I
does.
mean, it's a masterpiece of a horror film, and it just proves what you can't see is scarier than what you can see.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. I want to see a movie. There's a movie not to be confused with that Art the Clown Terrifier, which I've never seen and I'm not going to watch it. Not that I haven't watched stupid crap like Zombies and, all kinds of stupid things.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah. Yeah. Stuff like that. Yeah. You want a pizza.
That's
You want
fun.
to have a
Yeah.
glass of wine, eat some pizza, watch a dumb movie. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
But there was a movie called Terrified, and it's like it's not Spain, Portuguese. It is a horror movie. To your point, Phil, it is like that slow dread. There is a scene in that movie where I literally sat on the edge of the couch. I was on the edge of my seat. The tension was so ridiculous, so over the top. And really nothing was happening but something, and I won't tell you because I really want you guys to watch the movie Terrified. something was seated at the kitchen table that was horrific. It was absolutely horrific. And it was like, it didn't do anything, but you expected it to. And it was just absolutely horrifying. So yeah, The
No.
Exorcist too. One of my favorites. The Exorcist. I also like The Fog. John Carpenter's The Fog.
Classic.
Yeah,
You never
classic.
get to see that monster with that, you know.
Right. You see so, to this day, if it's foggy out, I expect a bunch of pirates to
Pirates
gather
to
on
come
the
out.
wall.
Yeah.
Right. But
30
but
Days
I
a Night.
I like a slow burn horror.
You know, there's right now a good TV show. It's called From.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm on the 4th season of that.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that really gets you hooked. I
Yeah,
mean,
it does.
yeah.
That's the one I was speaking about, where it's not so much like with a zombie, or there's a a
Mhm.
terrifying creature, although they can be very terrifying once they transform, but they'll be chasing you, walking slow, talking to you, telling you, if you don't hurry up and get inside. But when they tell you that and you don't, they move really fast. So like the threat of it is there. They don't, like zombies chase you. You can see them chasing you,
Mhm.
and I like that too. I like the ones where I've seen some people. I don't care if you're like 65. If you don't run for your life, they're gonna get you. I like those where they really got to. But then this one, they just walk at you. They're intelligent, and you know what they transform into, and they're telling you, "Hey Jay, I think you better
You,
go inside."
you know,
And you can walk as slow
Michael
as you
Myers didn't run.
Right.
Yeah.
Michael
Mhm.
Myers was the slowest killer in movie history, and
Yeah.
still it was terrifying because
Yeah.
it was this impending doom. You just knew this guy was unstoppable, and he was just not going to
He will
stop. It was
find you.
yeah, and he wasn't going to die no matter how many times you shot him. You know, like Donald Pleasance, shot him. They look down, he's gone.
He's gone.
Are
That
you
was scary.
are you guys ever watching any of the fan fiction on YouTube where they have Michael Myers going up against Jason Voorhees?
No,
Well, they
No.
made a movie like in the '80s, didn't they? Didn't they
they
put that
did. Yeah,
together?
Jason versus Freddy.
Jason versus Freddy. That's what it
Oh
was.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason. Yeah.
And
But
You'll
if
go
those
back
you
and
look really close in the background right there,
the blue guy.
that's the
yeah,
head.
yeah,
You
yeah,
remember
yeah.
Salem's Lot?
Oh, I
Uh-huh.
love
Yeah,
Salem's
yeah,
Lot.
David
yeah.
Soul.
That's him.
That's Mr. Barlow.
Oh wow,
Oh yeah.
I loved that. As a kid, that scared the hell out of me.
Oh, the kid
Yeah. Well,
scratching at.
that I didn't realize until much later that one of the guys in the movie was Juliette Louis-Dreyfus's what was the girl from Cape Fear? The young girl from Cape Fear,
Oh
the one with
yeah.
Robert De Niro in it. I think it
Oh,
was
I'm
Juliette
not sure.
Louis-Dreyfus, right? Wasn't that her name? Anyways, she
Isn't
was
that
in
the lady from Seinfeld?
no, okay, so the one with Natural Born Killers.
Oh, Juliette Lewis.
Julia Lewis, sorry, Julia Lewis. Yeah, her father was in Salem's Lot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Her father was one of the first guys that turned, and they show him like sitting in the rocking chair in one of the rooms.
Oh, oh, and he's like, "Look at me, teacher."
Yeah, oh yeah, just I love that movie. That was a made-for-TV movie. That wasn't even a movie. That
But
was a
it was ahead of
made-for-TV.
its time. It was
It
scary for
was.
TV. I mean, the way it was better than everything else for TV like that.
Well, it had the guy
Absolutely.
from Chips in it, right? Then it have the
Eric
no, not
Estrada?
Chips,
No,
Starsky and
no, the
Other
Hutch.
other
guy.
guy.
Starsky and
Yeah.
Hutch, the blonde-haired
Uh-huh.
guy.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, don't give up on us, baby. That guy, yeah.
That guy.
That guy.
Well, we had a lot of, and that was my formative years. It was probably your formative years. I mean, we had everything. I like to think that we grew up in the second golden age of horror, because the first golden age we had Frankenstein and the Mummy and,
Yeah.
Wolfman, Creature in the Black Lagoon. But then in the 80s and the 70s and the 80s, you had the Satanic Panic. And then all of a sudden, everything just exploded with everything. I mean, it was just and then there were so many good movies, Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween and all these wonderful things. And then we went into a dry season in like the 90s, and
Yeah.
there was no horror. And I remember as a kid going, aren't there any horror? Like, what's going on? And then Scream came.
Yeah.
I think it's boring. I'm gonna say it, but it did bring and usher in back horror again. So I guess it served its purpose.
It's the only
I-
memorable horror film from that time period, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there was much.
I found Scream boring too. I don't like
Yeah.
Do you know it's up to 7 now? Scream 7?
it.
No.
Wow.
I was gonna ask that question, but I figured I better not.
Yes, Andy. No, it's probably not a good idea.
Scream 7 and Rocky 7. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Sounds great.
Oh yeah.
Jaws part 52. Who is Bruce the Shark and why does he keep eating the Brodies?
Oh, that's Jaws. Yeah. That's,
We'll
Speaking
need
of
a,
Jaws, I mean,
we'll need a bigger boat.
That's right.
speaking of
that's
Jaws, did you know about how much, how they came way under budget and they had to do all this makeshift things just to make it happen? I remember them talking about it, and it was like amazing that they pulled that off. And then you try to watch it and reimagine what they were, doing to make those shots happen. It's crazy.
Oh
It-
yeah.
that was a tough shot. I mean, everything. The shark never worked. Nothing worked, and that's what actually made the movie work. Is because you didn't really see anything until you
Yeah.
saw it.
Too late.
the cinematography alone in that movie, like you said, the shark not working was a
Mhm.
blessing because
It was.
they couldn't show the monster, so it made it so
Mhm.
much better. They had to get creative. And then my favorite shot of the whole movie is when when the chief is sitting on the beach in that chair and he's about they do the zoom shot, right? So they do that by moving the dolly in and zooming the camera out at the same time, and he's sitting there and he just as he sees the kid being attacked, and it's to this day it is such a memorable shot and so perfect, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why don't more directors rip that shot off? I would just
should.
steal that. That is so perfect. That shot was just so awesome, and it would and when they used the sound with it, it immediately just kind of grabbed you. It was awesome.
Phenomenal movie.
Yeah, and then the
The way they
adventure, the
grabbed the neighborhood
soundtrack. Sorry,
Sorry about that.
they re-released that movie. I want to say about 10 years ago and put it in the
Yeah.
movie theaters again. And
I went.
I went. I did too. I had to go see it. I'm like, I have to see this in the theater and see if it's gonna hold up and be the same as it was. And I was right on board. It was so good. And hearing the music, the
Wow.
soundtrack, and when they get on the boat and the adventure and the hunt and everything else, and it was just like. It's just it's a monster movie. It's a monster movie, and there were so many rip-offs after that movie.
Still to this day.
Piranha and Humanoids from the Deep and all these cheesy
Mhm.
crap movies that
I actually have one of the original piranhas from the movie Piranha in that cabinet over there.
oh, that's awesome.
How did you come by that?
Like I said, I knew some people in the makeup industry, and I got some little perks. I also have an
Okay.
alien face hugger, so
And
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
and Phil just recently saw some really good horror movies. He saw Melonheads and Bite. You want to talk?
Eddie's
about
gonna
that?
watch this show.
I
You
don't
should-
believe you, Paul. I don't believe you.
Eddie's gonna watch this show. Don't tell her that. He's gonna see this and he's gonna get us.
You know,
The real head's gonna come get you.
yeah, Jay. We interview a lot of movie producers, but we're talking about B-rated movies and just total crap. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
somebody had a vision for something, and maybe it just didn't work out.
It's funny that I've seen kids or young directors go out there and intentionally try to make bad movies because like bad movies have become popular, right? There's documentaries on the 50 worst movies ever made, and it's become like Troll 2 was voted the worst movie ever made, and it's become a real popular thing to watch a bad movie. And we were watching them since we were kids because that's we go through every movie at the VHS store, at the video store, long
Yeah.
before
Oh,
Blockbuster.
absolutely.
Yeah. So there are some people out there that intentionally, like on purpose, make a bad movie, and you can tell.
But-
It's not good. The person has to not be trying to make a bad movie. They have to be trying to make a good movie, and then it all fall apart in order for it to be one of those movies that you enjoy watching because you can see that they had their heart and their soul in it, and they just couldn't get it done. And that's where that's when the
Wow.
humor and the comedy, and you can see the shots, and it's yeah,
Yeah, but
wildly
how many of
entertaining.
those people think they're doing it like how many people gave it their level best and said this is going to be the best movie ever, but then it didn't work out and then they were like, well, I did that on purpose, because then they could always say that if it sucks.
I feel,
I meant
some
to
of
do
them I
that.
feel bad because especially the ones from the '80s, because you could there were some that you could tell they thought they were making like a Citizen Kane or something. They mortgaged their house in order to make this thing, and then you see the way it turned out, and you're like, oh man,
The house is
this is
gone.
bad.
Two things that had those movies, Jaws and like say Michael Myers, like what you mentioned to me that I liked that they had in common was the way they showed the neighborhoods where they grew up. Like the New England or whatever that, like when Roy Scheider was, waking up and just how the kids, just the way they showed that they set it up. And then by the same token, when you would see the neighborhood, the kids, trick or treating or whatever, you don't see neighborhoods like that anymore.
Well, they
No.
filmed Amityville Horror in my hometown, right? And so I used to hang out at the house where they
Wow.
filmed the movie because I knew the family who owned the house. They were the Geislers. And so I knew Jennifer Geisler, and Jen's mom was super cool. And so I got to hang out a lot in the house, not the real Amityville Horror house, but the one they actually filmed the movie in. And it was a beautiful house. There was nothing scary about it. I mean, they were loaded. I mean, that's really a multi-million-dollar home now. But
Oh, it's
yeah,
the windows. The windows,
you,
yeah.
The
that was the
window.
scariest part where they look like eyes.
Yeah,
I heard they got rid of the windows.
they did.
Well they did, yeah.
Hmm.
If you what the original house was painted black or something, or it had like
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, talk about that, just a creepy thing to do. I mean, I understand it's the Northeast, and it's not like it's Florida or anything where that black is going to kill it. You kind of want the warmth that far north, but still black. I just who does that? And it was an Italian family, the DeFeos that did that. Weird.
Very strange. But that movie scared me too, like even as a kid, even again, not showing anything but showing everything.
The bleeding walls, the flies,
Yeah.
the voice, right? The get out.
Oh, God.
You know, that was the creep. That was some of the worst. One of the worst dreams I ever had in my life was we know the dreams where you wake up and you don't realize you're still in a dream kind of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, like I woke up still but I was still in a dream, and there was this dude that was solid white, like ghastly painted white type thing, on the corner of my bed, perched like a bird, like this, and he was saying my name, Philip, 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 and it was just my dogs don't even like it. It's that creepy, and it was
Oh,
just one of
that's
those things.
terrifying.
Yeah, oh, it scared the
Hold on, let
crap
me
out of me.
write that down.
It was that was one of those dreams. It's one of those dreams I'll never forget. That and the breathing door. I had a dream that was
Oh.
over and over again. I would have all the time where my door was shut and the door was like breathing, like flexing, like breathing, and just yeah, creepy stuff.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's kind of terrifying, actually.
And you know
Did
what, bro?
you didn't grow up in East Brunswick?
it's Island Heights, New Jersey. I was in a house that had been there since the 1600s, so it was
Oh, there you go. What could possibly go wrong?
had some real creepy
What were they
vibes in that
thinking?
You know
house.
what blows me away is Zandine and myself. We've been on a lot of paranormal investigations,
Mhm.
and on some of our investigations, we get EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon,
You
in
always
which
do.
the entity says "get out." And I used to think, I said, don't these ghosts know how to say anything else besides "get out"?
Hello?
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, did they watch the movie Amityville
Huh.
Horror? What the hell?
Well, maybe they got that from that EVP voice recording from before that. I mean, maybe that's all they can say.
Yeah, that's weird.
I
And
don't know. Nothing in that house in East Brunswick told me to get out. It was no, it showed you why you should, but There are, I mean, honestly, without sounding like a complete nutcase, there are about a million other things that happened in that house. Maybe if we talk again after I published Thig, we'll talk about some of the other things that happened in there, like the waterbed where the thing went down and there was an indentation, and I went up, and my girlfriend and my mother were standing in the room and they watched it. Yeah, it was all kinds of creepy crap.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
one of my investigations that blew my mind was when I walked into this room. You can hear this little girl giggling, and I go, "Oh my God, the sound is coming from the corner of this bed," but I couldn't see her. So I went over there and I go, "Hello," and she says right back, "Hello." I go,
That's it.
I said, "I can't believe this." I mean, she said hello to me. I mean, our face must have been like this, that close. It was weird.
Yeah. No, I can't get behind this kind of stuff anymore because honestly, it trails me. Like when we used to play with Ouija boards and stuff like that, and because it was being done in my house, and I would do it too, and then I've stopped. But like it told me one time, it said that I was a portal, and then it said there's heaven, but no angels, floating on clouds, peephole, which I thought was really creepy that it said that. But then after that, like I was like, I can't keep doing this because I really was plagued as a kid. And again, I don't know how much of that contributed to my writing, but a lot of that is in my writing. So yeah, it's scary stuff.
I got to tell you and Phil and Zandine a horror movie that I saw that just knocked my senses out.
Okay.
Okay, this
What's
was
that?
back in the 80s, and these guys, well, it was like 5 people. They said, "Paul, we're going to take you love horror movies. We're going to take you to a movie." And I go, "What?" And so they took me to this movie, and went into the theater, and come to find out, it was the Rocky Horror Pictures pictures, and
Oh my God.
the whole audience is acting out the things that are happening in this movie, and it just totally blew me away, especially when they sang the time warp. Do you guys
It's
remember
just a
that?
jump to the left and then a
Yeah.
step to the right.
Yeah.
I was there
Uh-oh.
every
Uh-oh.
Friday night for
He
the midnight
knows.
showing in
Midnight show.
Piscataway, New Jersey.
So you
Oh,
knew
Bring
how to
your
do all the
rice and your
sprinkles and
toast and your
everything?
water.
Mhm. I never brought anything, but I did like the soundtrack.
It was a mess. I hated to be the person working at that theater because they
oh,
always
the
had it.
mess.
Yeah, they always had it in one theater in town. Saturday night was the show, and it
Rocky
was
Horror
always the
Picture
midnight
Show.
show. And oh my God, the mess they made from bringing. We had like water fights. They were beyond water guns. We had just like bottles of like the big Ajax soap bottles filled with water, and yeah, it was a mess, but a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was funny because when I was in grade school, I went to sleep over my friend's house, Tanya, and Tanya's mother owned the movie theater in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and they took us to go see a double feature, and we had the sleeping bags, and we put out the sleeping bags on the floor, and we were watching the movie, which was really kind of cool. And we watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and then
So cool.
Nice.
the Rocky Horror Picture Show. We're like 10. We should have never been able to watch that movie. I'm like, what am I watching? My mom would be so mad.
Damn it, Janet.
That's
Gross.
right.
At 10.
Right. I'm like, this was not appropriate in any way.
Touch me, touch me, touch me, touch me.
Right.
Okay,
Hello,
how's the song go? The time warp.
Let's
again?
do the time warp again. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. It's just a jump to the left and then a step to the right. Put your hands on your hips and
Yep.
bring your knees in tight. And it's a pelvic thrust. Really
Do it.
drives you insane.
Let's
Yeah.
do the time. Awesome.
Time warp again. Yeah.
That was so much fun. I feel sorry for this generation that they don't have things
Oh.
like that.
Yeah.
And then you
No.
try to, I tried to make my son watch something like that, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" Like they
Yeah.
just don't. I'm like,
It's a
believe it or not, this was a great time.
it's a cult. It's a cult classic.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and this is so far ahead of its time. You want to talk about LGBTQ, whatever?
Mhm.
You look at
Yeah.
Dr. Frankenfurter.
Right. All of it.
Yeah, the whole
Every
thing.
one of them.
I'm like,
Yeah,
we had representation back then,
Yeah, we did. And the best kind.
and they were cool.
They were cool.
Oh, Jay, we're getting close to the quitting time here.
Mhm.
How can people get your book?
Okay. Stitches and Other Stories is available on Amazon. This is the back cover. We have 12 terrifying tales of everything you could ever dread and fear. You can get it at Amazon.com. You could just look up Stitches and Other Stories. And people could always hit me up on my socials, which my friend Han is helping me run. It's author JM Heluk on Instagram, or JM Heluk on Instagram. And my website is www.jmheluk.com. And I do like when people do reach out and after they read the book, because I like to hear their ideas. Somebody reached out to me today telling me what they thought the book was, because I really am interested in what people get out of it. So it's gotten a lot of good reviews. It was on the Amazon bestseller list when it dropped last year. It was number 47. It beat out a whole bunch of really good authors.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it was there for a while. So, and I'm very happy and I'm very proud of it. And I really do hope people give it a whirl and reach out and let me know what they think.
Let's do the